Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. In the alt media discussion boards that I read, one thing has come out in the last few years, and that's called the 48-hour rule. Because while we can't always foresee what allegations are going to be made or what sensationalism is going to be spouted, it's been found that within 48 hours, you can get a more balanced view of a situation or an allegation or any kind of information that's coming out of the mainstream. So anons, that's interested parties who look into things, citizen journalists, if you will, they talk about the 48-hour rule. Give the citizen journalists and people willing to do a little looking and fact checking 48 hours before you buy into any fear porn situations or discouragement or anything like that. And this happens on such a regular basis that actually this 48-hour rule may be something that I do on a more regular basis. This is the first one. It involves the list, the flight logs that are being divulged, and the attempts by the mainstream to tie Mr. T in with crimes that happened on that island. Now, let's be clear. There is a difference between being listed in documents and being on the flight logs. Mr. T is confirmed to be in the documents. They're being very careful, actually, it seems to me. Every time there is a drop with more information about that island, the flights to and from it, things that happened there, it also includes some documents where Mr. T is asked about. And in every case, even though they're asking, was he seen there? Was he there? Did he do this on this island? The answer's been, not that I recall, no, no, no. So be aware that there's a vast difference between being mentioned in documents and being part of the list and one of the perpetrators that needs to be held to account for those victims on that island. So I'm going to take you to a compilation that talks a little bit about this situation and where the 48-hour rule has come into play, because the mainstream was talking in the last 48 hours about how there was a victim of the island who was coming forward. Let's take a look at that. 1 second, I'm going to take you to a compilation. You can follow the Facebook link that I'll have in my video description box if this compilation interests you. Okay. Journalist Liz Crokin was able to put a perspective on that, and this takes you to her tweet about it. That the accusations come from back in 2016, fully retracted claims. Okay. And again, he's named in the documents, but he's not listed as part of those who need to be held to account. Okay. And Sarah Ransom, and if she was a victim of that island, she has my full sympathy, but apparently she's had to recant her story, and the proof that she said she had has never, ever been able to be produced. So then we have, again, a little more about that, the situation that in 2016, she couldn't provide the tapes when asked, okay? And that she told this reporter that she invented the tapes to draw attention to Epstein's behavior and to make him believe that she had evidence that would come out if he harmed her, which I can understand that kind of motivation. Trying to catch, because there's a lot of people that get Arkancided when they go up against very powerful people that have some actions to be held accountable for. Not to be outdone, woke actor Mark Ruffalo shared, I've got to read the first part of this article from Gateway Pundit. He shared this, this picture in his tweet, okay? Trying to prove that Mr. T has a history of consorting with underage females. Now, no one's going to claim that the man's a saint. He loves beautiful women, and that's not what's up for debate here. But far-left woke actor Mark Ruffalo is so blinded with hatred for President Trump and his MAGA supporters, he posted fake AI-generated images of Trump with young girls to push a false narrative about that island. When caught, instead of admitting his mistake and failure to spend even a minute on due diligence, he blamed Elon Musk for allowing so much disinformation on his platform. Okay, so again, he shared that, Anons found out, and were able to prove that that was AI generated. Now, those kind of antics are going to continue. They are going to continue to try to bring Mr. T's name into that list instead of saying, even though we don't know everybody, let's start prosecuting and indicting those that we do. Okay, so I'm going to just ask this question. Mr. T, does he have anything to worry about? Will there be any lasting success in these efforts to besmirch, besmear, and tie him to crimes on that island? Does he have anything to worry about? Let's ask the universe, find out what the universe wants us to know. I'm going to switch the camera so you can watch me work with the cards, and we'll find out the answer to this question together. I think it's a pretty interesting one. 1 second. Okay, our question is, and it's specific to this timeline. It's specific to information that would have been available to us before any obscuring or veiling of that information or twisting of it had happened on an intuitive level. Does Mr. T have anything to worry about these efforts to make him seem part of the crimes against especially the littlest victims on that island, and other insights and information the universe wants us to know? We know the efforts will continue, and applying that 48-hour rule to sensational information, understanding the difference between being mentioned in a document and being a perpetrator and part of those infamous logs is two very different things. That'll help. Let's see what the universe wants us to know, though. Does Mr. T have anything to worry about? Our first card is the Nine of Wands. They're going to keep trying. Then we have the High Priestess. We have the Nine of Swords. We have the Eight of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, Six of Wands, and the Emperor. Okay, let's look at those cards and talk about what those mean in connection with our question for the universe. First of all, the situation's indicated with the Nine of Wands, which is a card of he's been battling, but he's kind of like, keep bringing it. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. It's a determination card. It's standing your ground card. So despite the efforts, and there have been some, and despite the toll that those have taken on Mr. T, those who love him, and those who support him, there's a determination here that's not going to be wavering. The High Priestess gives us a little more information here. Now, she does talk sometimes about information that will soon be available on the earthly plane. Right now, it's still kind of just behind the veil, but we could see it if we chose to. If we drew a little closer, we could see it. So they are going to bring out a little more information, but we're being told, don't worry about it. There's nothing to worry about. Okay? Not only are they being the deep state, they being those who truly have a hate for Mr. T, while they're trying to craft their best last quiver of arrows, it's not going to be too successful because the white hats are on top of things, and truth is going to trump those efforts to deceive and to besmirch and smear the man in any kind of a lasting way. Let's look at the near future. We got the King of Pentacles showing up here. He is a card that talks about, first of all, sovereignty and security and success. So it's success for Mr. T. There's really nothing for him to worry about. I say that because look, the inside cards on both sides of this. We have the Six of Wands, which is a victory card. Wreaths always stand for victory on tarot cards, and this card has those wreaths. Okay. Then we have the Emperor card here, which is the absolute top card involving the alliance. And that, again, the alliance could see this coming a mile away, whether it was because of looking glass technology, quantum computers, whatever. This is not catching them by surprise at all. They expected it. They know it. It's one of those things, and it's more and more of us regular Americans or regular citizens, if we're not in this country, understand that 48-hour rule. Wait to hear the rest of the story before we act or react or contribute our energy, especially when something's trying to involve some anxiety, stress, worry, or fear. We're going to be helping that effort in a very meaningful way. Let's get two more cards and see what we get. Okay, we've got the Six of Pentacles and the Five of Cups. Okay, now this is a card with showing some balance to what's going on. So again, they're ready to balance and counter anything that seems to be claimed about Mr. T. They're going to be ready for it. It's going to cause the deep state some sadness that their efforts are just, yeah, their cup's spilled. Okay, it's just not going to work. I'm still curious. I'm going to get a couple more cards. I love the reassurance here. We have the Devil showing up. And then we have the Nine Pentacles. So despite the efforts on the part of the deep state, okay, despite their efforts to cause problems here, it's just not going to be successful. It's not. And the Nine of Pentacles is a beautiful card. There's love, there's connection, there's security, there's abundance and independence. So moving free from all that in the future, all these allegations and stuff. We're all moving to a place where these are going to be just a really interesting chapter to read in the history books when the history books are written for this time and this place. And it's not going to do them much good. No, it's not. Even though they're still going to try to be bringing out information and misinformation and claiming it's true, apply that 48-hour rule, and I think you're not going to have any anxiety, worry, or sleepless nights. So let's recap. We looked at a concept called the 48-hour rule that is in play often on discussion boards that look at alt media perspectives on news and information, and came away with, number one, it's a good rule to apply to ourselves when we hear a sensational claim or even have an event happen that we might think be a false flappy thing. Apply that 48-hour rule before you give too much of your energy to giving credence to what is first reported. Then we looked at how that 48-hour rule came into play just in the last few days when there have been efforts on the part of parties on the left to besmirch Mr. T, claim he has involvement that hasn't been able to be proven on a certain island in the flight logs. We looked at something very important, and that's the difference between being mentioned in a document, as Mr. T has, when they've asked people directly, did you ever see him there? And the answer in every case has been no. But that still legally qualifies as him being mentioned in the documents being released. But that doesn't make him party to visits to that island, to crimes against little ones, to being on any kind of those flight logs that get divulged. So understanding that difference gives us some peace of mind. Okay, then we've said the efforts to try to include Mr. T in those crimes and the information is going to continue. Will it be successful? And phrased it on a positive, I just asked, does he have anything to worry about? we'll and we got a big answer of it's going to continue. First of all, something that the cards did confirm, that they are going to continue to try to include Mr. T. And we did see that some of the names are going to come out. His name's going to be included more. There's more that they'll try to claim as new information, breaking news, that kind of thing. But ultimately, there's nothing to worry about. Mr. T's going to come through that just fine. They're not going to be able to permanently and successfully make any of those allegations stick. And then the King of Pentacles showed up kind of for what to expect in the future. And that's telling us, first of all, that there's sovereignty and generosity involved here. Mr. T knows what he's up against. He willingly put himself in harm's way. And I think, whether setting quirks of character and flaws of character aside, I think we all owe him huge, huge debt, because he put himself in a position he didn't have to for a cause he believed in. And that cause is human sovereignty. That cause is, I don't think it's just America, even though he focuses his speeches on that. But we are trying to become a race of people who are allowed to develop and grow and reach our full and best potential and have available to us the best possible outcome, not breadcrumbs and debt slavery and things like that. So, Mr. T, kudos to you. And thank you so much for what you've given and what you've done. We don't know a fraction of it, but I thank you. That's it for this video. I thank you so much for your time and attention. I really do. I don't take you for granted. And until next time, I send you love and light and all things bright. Bye.